gentlemen, this FSC Middleweight Championship is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds and is sponsored by 𝗙𝗛𝗏𝗏. Once again, let's welcome to the blue corner, entering the cage this evening with a record of 5 victories and 3 defeats. Representing Team Renegade from Italy and Nigeria is Idemudia. And his opponent this evening in the red corner. He enters with a record of 7 victories and 3 defeats. Representing Fight Zone Gym in London from Jamaica is Dacres. Your referee in charge, Rich Mitchell.
The FFC Amateur Middleweight title on the line. Sponsored by 𝗙𝗛𝗏𝗏. In the blue corner from Team Renegade, Idemudia. His opponent, Dacres from Fight Zone London in the red.
Bit of a feeling out period. �𝗚𝗏𝗧𝗦𝗛𝗏 came out, pawing out that jab.
Dacres here, pouring out low calf kickers again. There's a level change.
Able to take the back, looking to drag 𝗙𝗛𝗏 to the ground.
Got to keep busy here if he wants to keep this position. Referee looks on.
𝗙𝗛𝗏 doing a good job of breaking those hands. Now he's going to look to try to circle and get that elbow underneath. Ooh, nice knee up the center.
Single leg completed though from �𝗚𝗏𝗧𝗦𝗛𝗏.
𝗙𝗛𝗏 looking to push his hips back, Oh! Unable to completely get his hips back far enough.
Key aspect though, the underhook. Now the shoulder pressure in that topside position from Idemudia. Trying to free his leg to skip around to side control.
𝗙𝗛𝗏 looking to roll through, try to go out the back door, create some space. �𝗚𝗏𝗧𝗦𝗏 doing a good job of staying heavy on top, but 𝗙𝗛𝗏 did the smart thing, was able to get his hips behind him. Now looking to stand up. Good job by 𝗙𝗛𝗏 to get that in there, but �𝗚𝗏𝗧𝗦𝗏's still on him. He needs to turn in. And he's got to realize as well that 𝗙𝗛𝗏's able to change levels quickly or take the back like he just did there. Good break of the hands by 𝗙𝗛𝗏, but 𝗚𝗏𝗏 doing a good job keeping that far side body lock. Gonna look to drag him back down to the canvas.
Deep connection here from �𝗚𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗙𝗛𝗏 looking for the knee. �𝗚𝗏𝗏𝗏 though re-engages. Tight clinch, looks for the back. 1 round in the books. Amateur middleweight title on the line. A strong case so far from David.
Yeah, he did a good job of closing the distance, taking the back. He's able to drag him back to the mat. One of the big things is the difference in the stance when they're striking. If you look at David 𝗚𝗚𝗏𝗏, he's very square stance, more of a boxing stance. He used that to set the shot up. 𝗙𝗛𝗏's more of a wide open stance, more of a karate-based stance with the legs wide. Best counter for 𝗙𝗛𝗏 to be able to avoid these takedowns. Leg kicks as he's circling away. Look for uppercuts as 𝗚𝗏𝗏𝗏's coming in. 𝗚𝗏𝗏𝗏 to set the shots up that he wants. Got establishing that jab. get into range, throw combinations, change levels, and drive through.
Round 2, FFC middleweight title, FIGHTSTAR Championship 31. David in the blue, Sydney in the red. Oh, some clean connections with the lead foot.
And again, in deep on those shots. It was a counter off of a reset after Sydney was throwing those kicks. Again, we're going to see Sydney drag him to the mat. Get dragged to the mat, I mean.
So Dacres fights the wrist here, tries to reset the angle. In a better position now. 𝗙𝗚𝗚𝗧𝗦𝗛𝗡 engaged, circles out. So look for the separation. In on the single. Oh, nice response there from 𝗙𝗚𝗚𝗏𝗚. Clean 1-2 for Dacres though.
And Sydney lifted a knee to throw a knee as he was coming in, but he gave 𝗙𝗚𝗚𝗏𝗏 that double leg by doing that. He's now giving up his back, and he's not up against the cage. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hammer fist to the back of the head.
All right, so 𝗙𝗚𝗚𝗏𝗏 loses the position due to the infringement on the rule set. But he re-engages now, double unhooks in a stronger position to drag this one down to the canvas.
And again, we saw it in the first and at the beginning of this one. He uses the side body lock back take position to just drag Sydney down to the floor. And again, he's able to do it. Sydney rushing over. Oh, 𝗙𝗚𝗏𝗏𝗏 high. And now Sydney looking to control, comes off the top. But the knee caught. Sydney now on her back near the center of the cage, which is going to make it difficult for him to be able to get up without trying to get out the back door. Ooh, looking to face the legs, get his hips underneath him.
𝗙𝗚𝗏𝗏𝗏 looks for the back. He's right at the wrist, could be looking to try and skip that hook in. Dacres' response here is to try and walk back to the feet. Oh, heavy shot.
He's got to watch the back of the head, though. Again, that was a hammer fist that was directly on the back of the head.
Laces the leg beautifully. Sneaking around the neck as well, distraction technique. Heavy shots up the center line. So far, an impressive performance from David, though. You know, Sydney in the bottom position in constant defense mode.
He's been able to do his game plan almost to perfection. It was set the shots up, once he takes the shots, close the distance, get the body lock, drag it to the ground, and then work for some ground and pound from there. The big thing is Sydney's been allowing this over the course of a few of the takedowns by lifting his knee up to throw those knees, but he's doing it in a way in which his back's stuck against the cage. He has no escape. We're just changing levels and getting the takedown. Come out for the third round here in this potential 5-round title fight.
Right, third round, 3 minutes on the clock. Perez in the red corner. 𝗙𝗚𝗚𝗏𝗏𝗏 in the blue. Middleweight title is on the line here. Muda drops down, looks for the body lock. Had massive success with the takedowns and completes it.
And again, he went back to his game plan, which was close the distance, get the body lock, now work some ground and pound. He hasn't had success when he was trying to get his hooks in, but he has had success when it comes to the actual ground and pound from these positions.
Oh, he's underneath the chin here. Draws it back, both hooks in. Idemudia looking to finish here and capture gold in London.
𝗙𝗛𝗚 doing a good job of getting wrist control and looking to try to break it. And now he's riding very high.
I think as David got back to his feet there, 𝗙𝗛𝗚
was holding the gloves.
Yeah. Stern warning from the referee to 𝗙𝗛𝗚 for holding the gloves. Nice 1-2.
Munda's looking directly at the hips.
Combination as he comes forward, finishing with a beautiful kick to 𝗙𝗛𝗚. Uppercut in the interim, looks for the trip.
And again, in onto those hips, able to take the back. He's got 1:47 to drag 𝗙𝗛𝗚 back to the rinse and repeat of what he's done in the first 3 rounds.
And as the rounds go on, this is going to just debilitate the cardio as well as the psychological aspects here for 𝗙𝗛𝗚. David rides in, forces him in defense mode, sapping the gas tank. You know, and it also paints a picture in the athlete's head that, you know, I can't shake him off my back. It's very hard for me to stand up. So I like this approach here from David. You know, he's looked at the 5 rounds, as we said, 5 3-minute rounds for this championship fight. And this is his game plan now. We're starting to see the upper echelons of the game. You know, they have the skill set to get the victory, but the game plan is going to be the deciding factor here.
And he's using this as well as we saw earlier, to set up that opportunity to get a hook in, to get that arm out underneath the neck. He did a good job at the beginning of this round, was almost able to finish it. 𝗙𝗛𝗚's long arms allowed him to be able to reach all the way up and pull it down. But again, they're continuing to work to set that up like he just did.
It's interesting to see as 𝗙𝗛𝗚 tries to reset to his feet. Oh, he's rolling through.
Good roll through, but again, great hips, able to follow along, and he's doing exactly what I'm sure his coaches had told him to do throughout the entire fight camp. Stay on him nice and tight, look for ways to be able to get your hooks in, but continue to grapple him back to the mat, and those little shots coming underneath. Again, 𝗙𝗛𝗚's able to break those hands, but every time he goes to turn into it, he ends up giving up his back and he gets dragged back down to the mat. So as we saw in the first, we saw it in the second, and now we've seen it in the third. It's a continuation of the same game plan, and it's very effective by David Idemudia. And here's David coming here. He closes the distance, gets the body lock, back trip, able to get a top control. At that time, 𝗙𝗛𝗚 Darcy will give up his back. Here, he went up underneath the chin, locked it in tight, and 𝗙𝗛𝗚 already reaching up to grab a hold of the wrist and peel it off. Here, slip out the back door. And again, this just heavy top position, grappling with it, and then always getting back to that backside control position where he had the dominance, had the power, and had the control by using the body lock. Championship rounds here for the middleweight amateur title.
This is where cardio needs to really be ticked off and weaponized in championship rounds. Oh, nice shot there. David stings 𝗙𝗛𝗚, and that promotes the clinch again. Body lock, beautiful trip.
And again, back to that same position, working to see, okay, when 𝗙𝗛𝗚 stands up, is he gonna have his head up, allow David Idemudia to get that arm underneath it? And again, David Idemudia heavy on top. 𝗙𝗛𝗚's corner's telling him, you gotta get out of here. Easier said than done, though.
Łuda does a wonderful job of riding the back with the body lock, forcing him to carry all the weight. But what I love, as Țydnău tries to defend or he starts to get back to his feet, Łuda will throw in those techniques, the chokes, the knees close range. He's always throwing something in the dead space to revisit this body lock from the back.
And when he has the body lock in the back, to keep Țydnău honest and force him to continue to kind of work off the hands and tuck the chin, he's throwing those uppercuts underneath the armpits. Just constant aggressive motion like that.
Dacres here rides the wrist, gives up the gable grip. He drags him down to the canvas.
And I mean, he's in Țydnău's corner, and his corner's walking him through what he needs to do. And 𝗙𝗛𝗚𝗛𝗧𝗦𝗛𝗣 stopping him at every point when he continues to move. He's got just over a minute. Now is the time he's got to look to explode out. David's looking to try to get that rear naked choke again. Ooh, knees to the body.
Knee to the body. Oh, this is some knees to the body from David, but they were legal. And there's Țydnău again with the fingers in the glove neck.
And that's going to be a point. Now, he got the point, but he lost the position, which I don't think David's going to have a lot of problems with, because I think he's going to close the distance here in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Closes the distance within my 5 count. Able to get again to the backside control, and he's going to drag him back down to the canvas.
David recruits control of the hip as well. He bumps his hip into his opponent, walks forward to get a bit of elevation, which allows him to drag him back down to the canvas. Again, rides him heavy with that body lock as well, staying committed and attached to that back position.
And it's been rinse and repeat throughout the 4 rounds, and he's been able to do it without Țydnău being able to show any sort of way to stop or even slow him down.
The crowd here trying to get behind Țydnău, trying to give him a little bit of motivation and inertia. I mean, it's been such a hard fight for him to consistently try to get back to his feet and being forced to wear David, kind of like a backpack. It was the knees to the body and the glove grab.
And here's the combination. As the countdown was coming, you can see me actually counting down behind him. He's able to get into that body lock and drag him back down to the mat. It's that relentless pressure and that breaking of another human being that can be so rewarding when inside the cage.
Fifth and final round here. Idemudia in the blue corner, Țydnău, Dacres in the red. Could be all to go for here for the red corner.
Țydnău shooting in on a double leg right away. Now looking to drag 𝗙𝗛𝗚𝗛𝗧𝗦𝗛𝗣 down to the ground. Munda doing a good job of throwing that deep wizard. Țydnău able to, oh, David just told him you ain't gonna do that. Țydnău's corner's pleading for him to stand back up. I will not repeat the words because Dean will yell at me for using profanity again.
Yeah, that was the user-friendly translation.
Try to keep this safe for work, kids. David doing a good job of just staying on him. And now Țydnău, I don't know why Țydnău's going for the takedowns unless he's that confident of his top game to get the finish. He's got 2 minutes, and on every scorecard, he has to be down 4-0.
That's the right, to close the distance. He was looking for the right thing, the uppercut left hook, but just to close the distance a little bit too much.
And again, we see that slide, take the back, able to get 𝗙𝗛𝗓 back down the mat. Idemudia is now on top, peppering punches underneath, looking to see if 𝗙𝗛𝗓's going to lift his neck. Good Granby roll by 𝗙𝗛𝗓. Oh, now reaching up to try to get a hold of the neck, but Idemudia gets back to his feet and back to that dominant position of side back control.
Relentless pressure here from Idemudia. Consistent connections. I mean, now he's looking for the back, but he's real happy to sit low on that belt line.
It's a smart thing to do. It's a smart thing to do because then it's never anything where 𝗙𝗛𝗓's going to be able to come out the back door on him. He's not Iowa in the leg, but he's still got that same pressure to where it makes it difficult to post when underneath. But he may have just been to the point now where it's just so much relentless pressure and so much weight on top of him. 𝗙𝗛𝗓 may be the point where he's so tired it makes it difficult for him to stand up from this position.
One hook in here for David. Opens up some ground and pound. I think he's equally tired, but in the dominant position. Once more. Goes upstairs through the guard.
𝗙𝗛𝗓 now posting that arm. His corner's screaming for him to stand up with just over 10 seconds left.
𝗙𝗛𝗓 back to his feet. He's going to run out of time here, though.
Idemudia looks to be
a damaging, and lethargic and exhausting pressure from Idemudia.
Yeah, I don't know if I want Idemudia after everything that he's done to be up on the cage. I think I'd rather have him be down. Yeah, I mean, from every scorecard I can see, he's won every round, plus he got a 10-8 round there in the fourth.
FSC middleweight 𝗙𝗛𝗚𝗛𝗧𝗦𝗛𝗑 on the line here. As Idemudia done enough as he wear down 𝗙𝗛𝗓 Dacres from Fight Zone London to achieve gold here tonight in London. It will be handed over to the judges' scorecards where they can consolidate here the scores. It looks like they're in. Who's going to take home the gold here tonight?
I say 50-44 across the board, unanimous.
Probably be a safe bet, Idemudia, but we hand it over to our MC, Lee Thompson, to make it official.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, after 5 championship rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. 50-44, 49-46, and 50-44 for your winner by unanimous decision. And new FSC middleweight champion in the blue corner, 𝗙𝗛𝗓𝗓. And your brilliant runner-up, 𝗙𝗛𝗓 Dacres.